Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, our cherished participants at this conference. It's indeed a wonderful honor and pleasure to have been invited as a keynote speaker to share my experiences on scholarly writing at this maiden conference. I happily and wholeheartedly accepted this invitation because I love to share the knowledge and skills I've acquired over the years with others. I deem this as a duty towards the global scientific community. My name is Dickson Adom, and I'm a researcher in the Department of Educational Innovations in Science and Technology at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana, the West of Africa. In fact, my university is one of the popular research-focused institutions in Africa. I also serve as an extraordinary researcher in the Department of Economic Sciences at the Northwest University in South Africa. I also represent my university on the research pillar of the Access project run between my university and the University of Leipzig in Germany. I'm happy to say that I also serve as an international advisor to the Philippines Association of Research Practitioners, Educationists, and Statistical Software Users. Today, my presentation will focus on writing scholarly papers. I chose this topic because, as an editor and reviewer, I have realized that many scholars struggle writing in a scholarly manner, thereby resulting in the rejection of their submitted manuscripts. I get very downhearted when recommendations are made by reviewers to reject a submitted manuscript. Yet, we can't help it because we are determined to improve and maintain the standards and rigor in the manuscripts that are churned out or published into the global academic community. Therefore, sharing some helpful tips on scholarly processes in writing, especially for journal articles, was deemed very relevant and timely for this all-important conference. I would like to begin by saying that scholarly writing is a painstaking but rewarding task. The art of writing is no easy task. Nathaniel Hawthorne, an American novelist, says something that has become a popular quote in terms of writing. He was comparing the art of reading to the art of writing, and this is what he said, and I quote, "Easy reading is damn hard writing." So Nathaniel admitted that writing is very difficult when you compare it to the art of reading. And Mary MacDonald also shared similar sentiments with Nicholas. And Mary said that, and I quote, "Writing is a hellish task," unquote. So generally, writing does not come easy. It requires dedication, diligence, and perseverance. Tough skin is required to stand the despair, the dejection, the frustrations, and confusions that are associated with the constant revisions and editing of our write-ups to meet the high criteria set for scholarly writing. This is even more difficult when you are engaging in academic writing. In scholarly writing, original or novel contributions from investigating research lacunas or gaps in particular fields of studies are expected from researchers. And again, in scholarly writing, critical forms of communications with a serious language tone is expected in write-ups. And authors are expected to follow meticulously the laid down principles for scholarly writing. Despite the difficulties associated with scholarly writing, many of us are determined to pursue scholarly writing because we are determined to solve the problems that we are facing in our communities and the global world. These are some of the recent scholarly papers I've written within the COVID-19 period from 2020 till now. I undertook these studies because I wanted to solve particular challenges confronting some marginalized women in their workplaces when you look at the first manuscript. And also I wanted to also address the challenges associated with culture and the field of education in Ghana brought about by the COVID-19. I have other papers that are also trying to solve, as it were, the problems in my country, Ghana, and also in other countries like Iran and so forth. Scholarliness in communicating research calls for the demonstration of research excellence and integrity on the part of researchers. This would help researchers to win the support, the confidence, and approval of the general public. Therefore, it is a moral obligation for researchers to meticulously follow the ethics in research communication to the latter. Scholarly writers do not give any room for shortcuts or the lazy approach to writing, such as the cut and paste, which is common among MPhil students and master's students. And we don't want researchers to engage in this jigsaw writing approach that leaves them hooked in academic dishonesty, such as plagiarism, that is using somebody's ideas without giving proper credit. We also have data falsification, where researchers deliberately manipulate the results or data from their research to meet their own parochial interests. And we also have data fabrication, where some researchers sit in their room, they will not even go to the field, and then make up data or results. And all these results in academic dishonesty, and we don't want to tread that path. I must repeat that there are no shortcuts to scholarly writing. The long chain of activities in scholarly writing must be followed. It's better to stay in traffic rather than to take the shortcut way of writing, which results in academic dishonesty. What I mean is, it is better fulfilling each of the elements in the tall requirement list of scholarly writing than pursuing the deadly shortcut methods that taints the reputation of authors as well as their institutions that they are affiliated with. The careful application of good summarization and paraphrasing, as well as the tactful but sparingly use of direct quotes, are indispensable skills required for scholarly writing. This does not come on a silver platter. As one renowned Ghanaian pastor who is an academic said, success is not something you can do once, but something you have to do constantly. Similarly, writing scholarly papers does not come easy. It comes with constant practice. And this is a lifelong journey, as Germano admitted in his work in 2005. When you understand the ethics and you learn to write scholarly, writing becomes a rewarding and an interesting activity, even though, as I earlier said, it's a difficult task. Another critical thing we have to look at when we writing scholarly manuscripts is engaging in critical and constructive reading. And this is closely knit with scholarly writing. This is because scholarly works must demonstrate in-depth knowledge of previous research in the field. Critical and constructive reading involves scanning through the information that is to be read, zooming into the useful information, asking yourself questions on what you have read, and taking notes whether using the traditional pen and paper format, or you can take notes using electronic devices like our laptops and even our phones. To be able to find the lacunas in an area of research within a particular field, researchers must be abreast with the previous studies in the field. That is why we are encouraging or suggesting that if you want to write in a scholarly manner, you have to engage in extensive reading. Authors with strong knowledge of previous research establish their credibility by having justifications for their stance or their arguments that they express in their scholarly write-ups. As a researcher, when I was growing up, I received several advice from many senior colleagues who encouraged me to read articles published in journals in my field of research. And this advice I took to heart. Not only did I come to know the new trends in research in my field, but I was able to also know the language, the technicalities in my field, the keywords that are used in my field. So I also advise you to do the same. Make reading of scholarly manuscripts in your field a habit, and this will lead you to territories of applicable knowledge and skills in scholarly writing that will stay with you throughout your career as a researcher. Another important element in scholarly writing is ensuring clarity and conciseness in our write-ups. In fact, clarity and conciseness, according to Shannon in her work in 2011, are the hallmarks of writing in a scholarly manner. Speaking of clarity in thoughts as a great feature of scholarly writing, Dean paints the meaning of clarity in his beautiful, colorful quote. He said, and I quote, "When you start to write, imagine how you would describe your favorite baseball game if your listener had never seen baseball played. Thus, when we imagine our readers as not knowledgeable in the area we have researched, and that we need to explain in a way that they will understand us. And that is what clarity means." This reminds me of Albert Zen's quote. Albert said that research is seeing what everybody else has seen, but thinking what nobody else has thought. So if we have discovered something new, meriting a space in the global scholarly diary or the global academic space, we need to communicate clearly for our readers to appreciate the value of the treasure we have discovered. Poorly communicated research in writing often leads to the rejection of manuscripts. This is something I've seen most for scholars with nationalities with English language as a second language. Personally, when I started writing and I wanted to get published in high-impact journals, I did receive very unfavorable feedback from reviewers on how I communicated my research in writing. Despite the novelty in my research findings, my manuscripts were denied entry into some of these high-impact journals. You're wondering what helped me to overcome this barrier? I consulted several people to read through my manuscripts before they were submitted. I asked trusted colleagues in my department and in other departments and even in other countries, senior colleagues, to read through my manuscripts for me. Peers who give honest, constructive feedback are in fact gold gems for our professional growth as researchers. I did consult the services of both subject aspects as well as technical aspects. And this helped a lot in improving the state of my manuscripts. Another important ingredient that will help all of us to write in scholarly manner is mentorship. Mentorship. It is important to find a senior colleague to serve as your mentor. Mentorship offers great assistance to early career researchers, especially in the area of scholarly writing. Mentors are the first point of call to offer us the needed advice, the needed coaching and training and direction to help us improve our manuscripts. Mentors can voluntarily edit and review our manuscripts for us before we even send them out or submit them to journals. And this helps a lot in beefing up the weak parts of our manuscripts. Another thing that has really helped me in improving the scholarliness in my writing is availing myself for professional training in scholarly writing. According to Antley, in his recent work in 2020, he said that professional training gives researchers the platform to learn new knowledge and skills that are related to scholarly writing. In fact, professional training is something that both early career researchers and seasoned researchers must engage in because it helps us in knowing the new trends in scholarly writing. So what I mean is that to write scholarly, you have to be attending workshops, seminars, public lectures, and courses, taking courses online and also in-person courses on academic writing. We have several courses run online by AuthorAid, Pablon's Academy, LCVS Research Academy, Coursera, and many others that you can take advantage of to improve your scholarly writing capabilities. Now, this is a certificate that I got from engaging in an online course run by AuthorAid on proposal writing and research writing. And these courses have really helped me a lot in my academic career. Another important element that helps young researchers in writing in scholarly manner is they giving themselves out, that is volunteering to help others, will lead to an enhancement of their own writing capabilities. In fact, when you assist others to improve the level of their scientific writing in their manuscripts, you will end up learning more or gaining more skills in scholarly writing. When I was a PhD student, I volunteered in assisting MPhil students in my department, and in other departments, I coached them on how to write based on the little scholarly writing tips that I got from the courses that I enrolled on. And this really helped me a lot. Moreover, I volunteered as a reviewer for several journals in my field of research. And interestingly, I won a top reviewer award in 2008. You can see the certificate that I got. The certificate is not that important, but the skills that you gain from assisting others is what I'm highlighting in this presentation. Do well to assist your colleagues in improving their write-ups, and you will end up gaining more skills and experiences in scholarly writing. So, my dear ladies and gentlemen, writing scholarly does not come by chance. It is a product of continuous hard work, diligence, and progressive training. Though it seems far-fetched, difficult, and a quite intimidating experience, when you are guided by the ethics of integrity and excellence, while availing yourself constantly to learn and apply the new trends of writing, and also assisting others, scholarly writing is very possible. I think it is appropriate to ponder over Stanley Fish's truthful remarks that he made on how to become a successful scholarly writer. He said, and I quote, "It may sound paradoxical, but verbal fluency is the product of hours spent writing about nothing, just as musical fluency is the product of hours spent repeating skills." Yes, the production of a well-meaning, aesthetically pleasant music that could get everyone on their feet to dance along with it comes with regular and several hours of working on the music, trying to improve, revise, and fine-tune it. Similarly, successful scholarly writers are not perfectionists who always produce the best sentences in their write-ups, but rather, successful writing, according to Friedman, or successful writers are those who keep on improving their write-ups. Scholarly writing comes with constant work on our write-ups, trying hard to improve it through several forms of revisions by listening to the advice or to the voices of senior and experienced writers, while meticulously following the principles that underpins the writing style. When you do all these things, you can be sure that scholarliness in writing can be achieved. Thank you so much for listening and for your attention. Thank you.